Do you love Amani Bears? Well, you're going to love Midnight, that's for sure. Also, all of the meta has been completely flipped around and dicked around. It's all changed since the last round of class changes. Everyone's running a completely different meta now, and it's actually a pretty strong one for the most part. So we're going to look at the meta heading into Midnight. Let's dive straight in here. WoW brings Amani Warbears in exorbitancy. The Ancestral Warbear is coming, along with many other variants to the Amani Warbear. This one is dropping from the Honored Warriors Cache treasure in Zul'Aman. This treasure is a reference to the bear runs in Zul'Aman, requiring you to interact with the 4 lowest shrines in the zone. So a nice little orange bear variant on the Amani Warbear. Also, we can get the Amani Blessed Bear, a reward that drops from the Amani tribe, one of the new Renown factions in Midnight. So this one's a nice little faction grind if you want to probably grind on a Renown track. Did I say grind on a Renown track? I meant grind out a Renown track. So you could do that if you want to get this one, and you can grind on it too if you want, I guess. Some also other data mine variants that aren't going to be available necessarily to get just yet, but are going to be in the game. We have this nice little golden version here, and then this black and blue version, which is pretty nice as well. Finally, we have this variation, which has a nice little, I don't know what you want to call it, Loa mask on the back here, interesting one. These 2 extra variants were data mined. These 2 mounts have tiki masks, I said before, mounted on the back legs instead of the Amani buckler. The red colored mount has the exact same color as the iconic Amani Warbear from Burning Crusade. So these might be trading post related. We'll see. I'm sure some of these are going to be trading post related. Not sure exactly when we're going to get them, how we're going to get them, which month of trading posts it's going to be available. But if you love your Amani Warbears, there's definitely going to be some to be had in this expansion. Okay. Jumping into the meta and exactly what has happened with this thing, because it's been completely flipped around since what started in the 3rd season. Probably the biggest meta flip we've ever seen in the middle of a season. We're kind of towards the tail end of the season. But we're going to look at this, check out the numbers, who's leading right now, who's the best tank, best healer, because this is what we're kind of getting heading into Midnight. We're getting another round of class changes next week. Might change some things as well, but let's see where things currently stand here. So the most popular specs to play in the game right now, this is not a DPS chart, this is a popularity chart. Who's the most popular kid in town? Frost Mage right now, absolutely being played out the ass. So I don't know what's going on. People really missed Frost Mage and they got some buffs, so people were really into playing it again. Well, Frost Mage leading the top there's a Restoration Druid. Is the next one up. They are the best healers right now in Mythic Plus. So this is basically, you got your dungeon run popularity, okay? So obviously you're going to have healers in there and stuff. This is not just spec popularity overall in terms of who logs in. This is people running shit. Behind them, we got Prop Paladins, Devour Demon Hunter. Your new Demon Hunter spec, sitting there at number 4. People obviously trying that one out, seeing how it's feeling. And then Survival Hunter, Furry Warriors, Affliction Warlock, Vengeance Demon Hunter. Your least played classes right now in terms of Mythic Plus: Fire Mage, Arms Warrior, Ass Rogue, Feral Druid. The Forgotten I feel for Feral Druids, honestly. What has happened to them? When's the last time Feral Druids were any good? It feels like it's been quite a while. Augmentation Evoker down here as well. Marksmanship Hunter, Preservation Evoker, Outlaw Rogue, and Balanced Druid sitting there at the bottom. You got everyone else sitting there in the middle somewhere. So overall, I mean, this gap right here, we got like a 5% gap with Frost Mage down to the next most played spec. So it's definitely popular right now, that's for sure. But popularity is not the only thing that matters. What's the meta looking like, and what are people running? Well, people now are pushing 24 plus 24 keys, with people doing 25 but yet to be successful on it. We see the group comps right now. A lot of mages, obviously, with the Frost. We see druids being brought in. Death Knights, a lot of Unholy being brought in here. We see Hunters, Paladins, Warriors being brought in a lot as well, and then a mixture of classes beyond that. So right now, I mean, some of the most popular classes, not just specs, but classes right now to run Mythic Plus right now: Mage, Druid, Death Knight, Hunter, Paladin, Warrior. A lot of them are being run with a lot of classes, some specific to only one single spec, and then some of them, like Warrior here, actually being brought in both in Protection and Fury. So Warrior is actually doing pretty good right now. Okay, looking overall, we see the numbers right now in terms of, number of occurrences and spec popularity. We looked at this already. You got yourself Frost Mage sitting at the very top. These are the number breakdown, the raw numbers of the number of runs being done with each spec. And then group composition popularity. So right here, this is your meta, boys. The group at the top is the most run combination of all the combinations of classes. And you can see right off the bat, looking here, there are 2 specific classes that are just being run like crazy. Your number 1 tanking spec right now, Protection Paladin, being run a lot throughout. Basically, you got, what is this, like the top 10 here, all being Protection Paladin groups. But then even more popular, Restoration Druid. I think this is like the top 20 or 19 here, being run all with Restoration Druids healing. Nothing changes until just below this one right here, this bottom one, right behind my picture, is we see a Shaman, Resto Shaman, and then a Disciplined Priest. And then it continues to be Resto Druids like the rest of the way down. So Restoration Druid right now, absolutely leading the freaking pack in terms of healers for Mythic Plus. Next to them, for DPS, we see Survival Hunter, Frost Mage, no surprise there. And then at the very top, we see Fury Warrior being run. But with a lot of these groups, you see Fury Warrior and Unholy DK kind of fighting it out for that last DPS spot in terms of which DPS is being brought in most of these groups. And then besides that, by the time you get to like the 3rd most popular group spec, you start to see Devour Demon Hunter showing up in quite a bunch. So Devour Demon Hunter, kind of your 3rd in line to join the meta specs. But right now, overall meta, as I said before, Prot Paladin, Restoration Druid, Survival Hunter, Frost Mage, Fury Warrior. That's your group. Mix in some Unholy DK instead of Fury Warrior if you want. But that is the number 1 run right now. And this is completely different from what we were seeing just like 3 weeks ago before all this shit happened. So it's been completely flipped around. We'll see if it gets flipped again coming up in this next round of class updates. Really the last round of class updates before midnight. In terms of overall Mythic Plus success, right? Which class is showing up and getting the most success out of Mythic Plus? That's what this chart shows. It's not a DPS chart. This is a chart that gives points to every class based on the success of the key they complete. So if you complete a 20 key, you get more points. 15 key, you get points there. 2 key, you get points there. The higher the key, the more points you get for completing it. And you get 0 points for not completing the key. Right now, the most successful class out there, Survival Hunter. Survival Hunter, we saw them. They're in the group right there at the very top, right, in terms of meta. Survival Hunter, the most successful class right now to bring along. Unholy Death Knight, 2nd most successful. Furry Warrior, sitting there at number 3. Affliction Warlock, actually, out of nowhere. I guess they're not brought a lot, but when they are brought along, they do good. Devastation Evoker, sitting there at number 5. And then Frost Mage, the one we've been seeing quite a lot, rounding out your top 6 there. Don't bring these guys because they're not having a lot of success. Ass Rogue, Fire Mage, Feral Druid. Oh my God, how's Feral Druid? Again, the forgotten class. Balanced Druid, not doing good either. Demonology Warlock, Destro Warlock, they're sitting at the bottom. Obviously, I'm joking about not bringing those classes. Player skill matters more than anything. But overall, it's just funny to kind of look at these stats and see, you know, who's really doing good when they're brought into a Mythic Plus key. Okay, looking at the raw damage numbers, you want to see who's actually pumping, right? It probably makes sense to look at overall DPS in the Mythic dungeons. When looking at the raw data, we see Survival Hunter is actually pumping harder than any class out there for the most part. Like in terms of summarizing the number of runs and how it's the average DPS put out on these runs. So Survival Hunter doing really good. We see Furry Warrior also doing really good. Devastation Evoker actually coming out of nowhere on this freaking chart because they're not currently part of the meta at all, but they're considered an S tier class when it comes to putting out big numbers in Mythic Plus runs. So sometimes you look at these metas, and yes, the combination of the 5 classes is really good, and that's probably why they're being brought, but it doesn't always mean they're the top DPSers. So Devastation Evoker sitting there at number 3. Devour Demon Hunter, our new spec, sitting at number 4, 10 spots up from the last time we looked at this chart. Affliction Warlock just behind them, and then Unholy DK rounding out your S tier, what is considered your S tier DPS specs in terms of the numbers they're putting out right now in Mythic Plus dungeons. For A tier, we have Frost Mage and Havoc Demon Hunter. B tier, we got Sub-Titty Rogue, Shadow Priest, and Enhancement Shaman. Your C tier, quite a big block here. We got Arms Warrior, Outlaw Rogue, Retribution Paladin, Destro Warlock, Frost DK, Marksmanship Hunter, Arcane Mage, Beast Mastery Hunter, Demonology Warlock, Windwalker, Monk. And then you got your D tier here, Elemental Shaman and Fire Mage. And then finally your F tier. Again, Feral Druids. Man, it's tough to be a Feral Druid. SS, Rogue, Augmentation, Evoker, and Balanced Druid. So, interesting chart. And the most interesting thing to me here is Devastation Evoker. I don't know if it's just because it's not played a lot, but it's doing pretty good numbers, but not showing up as a meta class to bring along. Rao, Druids are hurting. Yeah, they are. You're right. Any DPS version of Druid is hurting right now. I didn't even look at it, like, pull that out of the chart, but that's a good point, Conicia. They definitely are. Next week, Furry will hit like a wet noodle. You think so? Look, a lot of these changes are kind of responses to how hard some of these classes are hitting now. So, yeah, there's going to be nerfs and buffs. Nerfs probably at the top, buffs from the bottom. We'll see where it ends up happening. Wow, Survival Hunter. Yeah, Survival Hunter's doing really good right now. Meta spec, and they're at the top of the charts. We'll keep checking these charts. We'll see what they end up looking like after this next week of changes. Now, when we're talking about classes and specs and combinations and race customizations, there's a debate out there going on right now in terms of maybe some of the class specs people want to see, or race and classes people want to see combinations of, as well as customization options. Because right now, when you make a new Horoneer, which who knows how many people are going to do that, but yes, you go to the customization for Horoneers, and there is a ton of it. Much like Evokers, you can see there's a lot going on with them. I should say Drakthir. There's a lot of customization options for them. And you look back at some of the older races, say like the Orcs, the Trolls, the Humans, there just isn't as much there. So there's a big call out right now to get more of that in the game. And Blizzard has hinted at the fact that they are going to do that. There's even NPCs in the game. Looking at this guy right now, this is an NPC. I forget what his name is, Tocho. Look at the customizations on Tocho. You can't even make a Tauren that looks like this right now, and yet Tocho freaking looks amazing. Look at him. He's a hippie freaking Tauren with long-ass hair. But this isn't something you can make in the game currently. So Blizzard experimenting with more customization options. We've even seen things like Devour Demon Hunter, right? Getting a different color of scars and eyes, because right now they're still green. Another race that's been called out that wants more in terms of giving Devour Demon Hunters, or the ability to be a Devour Demon Hunter, to another Elven race, right? We're talking about our Suramar Elves, our Nightborn. Nightborn still can't be Demon Hunters, and yet that's something that was thought that was coming for sure. So different race class combinations and more customization could be a thing that happens in Midnight. It's been hinted at by Blizzard. They've talked about it here and there, and we could be seeing it, but that's something just kind of to look forward to, and potentially, hey, maybe we get it. Maybe we get more. Maybe you finally get that Nightborn Demon Hunter that you've always wanted to have. And finally, Blizzard believes World of Warcraft is underutilized. That's right. So the combination of, we got Holly Longdale saying that the Blizzard IP is underutilized and they want to use WoW more in more places, along with the fact that we got this very artistic and interesting looking cinematic at the end of the State of Azeroth event. Everyone right now is in full force saying we're going to get some kind of arcane style animated series out of WoW. This art style certainly lends itself to some sort of Netflix series or something. I'm not saying it's confirmed by any means. Blizzard has talked about it. And there were deals, there is confirmation that conversations have happened between Blizzard and studios out there like Netflix to make some sort of World of Warcraft series. Now, whether or not you want like a Game of Thrones-esque live action, or you'd want something like this, more of an animated series, it's kind of a stylistic choice. I think the animated series, something like this, something like Arcane, would lend itself more to World of Warcraft style. Right, like it would make more sense. Whereas like a live action really would kind of be, it would be more just like telling of the lore than it would be related to kind of the memes in the game and everything else. So I do think maybe an animated series would hold better. If I ever got a live action version, I would want like a full blown movie about Arthas Menethil. If I'm being honest, that's what I want to get. Henry Cavill, put a money bag in front of the man and tell him you're going to play as Arthas Menethil, and that's all you got to say. The guy plays the game. He already knows the story. So he'll take over from there, and that would be, to me, a very successful movie. But in terms of a series, I think something like Arcane, something in this style of animation, something not just silly and fun, right? You could have your silly moments and shit, but I would love to see some more serious, badass combat like this. This was pretty darn cool. And I think it would be successful. I do. I think it would get more people into it. A lot of people watch Arcane that have never fucking played League of Legends just because it's a good show. And I think you could do the same with a World of Warcraft show. A lot of people, I think, would watch it regardless of whether they play World of Warcraft or not, and it could even get more people to play WoW. Who knows? We'll see what ends up happening. The talks have happened. Whether or not the show ends up coming through, we'll have to wait and see. And for now, that is all in terms of news.